LebNet is a group of technology professionals in North America. Now, obviously, for obvious reasons, we started in Silicon Valley in the San Francisco Bay Area in 1999. Is that the correct date? Yeah, 1999. And we've been, it's funny, it started as two people meeting for dinner, then it was table for three, then it was table for four, then we started shutting down restaurants, and then we grew. Really today we're at about 700 plus members nationwide, but out of that probably, I'm gonna guess about 550 are in Silicon Valley. It's, of course, no politics, no religion, nothing. I mean, the fact that we lasted that long will prove to you that it was really just a professional organization. This is kind of tells you the path that we've gone through right now, and we have a lot of events going on, excitingly in Boston, New York, San Diego, Los Angeles, Seattle. There's one coming up, I was just telling someone, in Austin, end of May. There's a stealth exercise going on in Washington, D.C. potentially. So there's a lot of areas that now we're saying, hey, we want to connect to that network, and I'll talk to you a little bit about it. So again, 700 members. There's obviously 75% of them professionals. There's a lot of students now that are graduating from universities that are interested to plug into the network. What the Friends of LebNet is because everybody's excited about what we do. A lot of people, our friends, the doctors, the lawyers, and you know, the real estate agents, they all want to be part of it. So what we include them into the network, they can't access the members per se, but at least they get all the newsletters and the notifications. And this way they come to our events and they're part of the community. So what is LebNet about? Really our mission has sort of three legs to the stool. Mainly it's networking our members. And by our members, I mean the professionals who sign up basically to be on our mailing list. And we have a website they can connect, they can go into the directory, they can check other people. So it's a networking thing, whether it's done through events or through calling somebody else and said, hey, I'd like you to be my mentor, my coach, or I'd like to offer you a job, or I'd like a job, or I'd like to give you an internship. So it's an organic network that you put together by these professionals and where people meet really in events and offline too. We have a saying when we started, we always wanted to say, if a LebNet member calls you, you pick up the phone. So this is the sort of motto that we have. You know, you can't just say, no, I'm busy. You got to pick up the phone and actually help this person with whatever they need. So that's very solid, and there's so much more work that we need to do to get this platform more solidified. But that's what it's about. It's about Lebanese American high-tech professionals networking and helping each other, improving each other's careers and even interest in new areas and new technology and innovation. Connecting with Lebanon is another mission, part of our mission, and that is really mainly connecting with the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Lebanon and helping startups get to the next level. And these are startups that are probably, so we don't want to pretend we can help everybody in Lebanon. There's a very good ecosystem going on. There's a lot of VCs as well as accelerators and what have you. We want to help those accelerators and VCs, but there's always a step where then they kind of graduate from the local ecosystem and they need different type of help, and our members can offer that. So that's kind of, we want to play our role. We don't want to use a sledgehammer on a small nail. So by that I mean, effectively we have a program called Lebanon Ignite, and it's a 2-week camp, and boot camp basically for startups. And we've had already 20 companies that came from Lebanon with their founders and had 2-week boot camp in the United States. and they've benefited from coaching and mentoring from our members also. So that's how we want to reach out, and that's how we want to help. Nurture the next generation is really around the students here, people who need help, as they go into the industry. They need internships, they need scholarships, they need whatever. That's what we need to make sure they get. So that's basically, in a nutshell, our mission. I have so many other slides, I'm not going to show them. I wrote this on the plane, basically. What's the call to action here in LA? From each one of you, right, in order for you to know what's going on and all the activities, just sign up on our website, lebnet.us. Just sign up as a member. You'll at least start getting the notifications of the event. There's one in San Diego happening at the end of this month, for instance. There's another one in Boston. Actually, the announcement came as I was on the plane, May 3rd. There's, so you'll get at least notifications. There's a newsletter that's probably, when is the newsletter coming out? There's a newsletter coming out like in a couple of days. So, you'll read about things that happen. It's interesting. Then follow us on LinkedIn. There's a lot of people active on LinkedIn sending information. Facebook, if Facebook's still there, you can follow us on Facebook. Read our newsletters, and this is the big one, right? As I was telling some folks, we don't want to push, right? Each region should organize and find its own identity to be able to hold events in this region. You can always be a member without having a region having events, of course, but every region that conducts events needs probably some local volunteers that are excited about doing that, and then we will help from the central, whatever, there's a regional office, but centrally we can help from our team to act, to use our platform and tools to register and do the payments and whatever, and inform and give experience about how events are being handled. But basically, we do need a group of volunteers in LA that are going to drive LebNet here. Otherwise, it's people will have to drive to San Diego or fly up to San Francisco for events. So, but I will say, LA has a very special cachet in technology, whether it's AR, VR, media, entertainment, and all that. We don't have it up there. They don't have it in San Diego. So this is very exciting. There's a lot of good stuff on technology happening in LA, and it's irreplaceable. So we really want to make sure we have a good activities going on here. Without further ado, I'm gonna go back to David. David Ajalat is a great friend of LebNet. He's been sponsoring us
a couple of years, huh?
A couple of years now, and so David is a lawyer, right? He's got a problem because he keeps moving from one law firm to another, and every time he moves from one to the other, he sponsors us. This is the third one now. But yeah, Latham is actually a sponsor of LebNet. So our events, we're gonna have some events in San Francisco. They sponsor us. I think you guys even might have done one in New York. New York, we did one. It's at their offices, and thank you so much for doing it here for us. So I'll hand it to you.
Thanks, George. Like he said, LebNet is becoming a national platform, and it's been an absolute honor and privilege to support it the last couple of years. They've borne with me through 3 different law firms, so I appreciate that too. But we're really happy here at Latham. It's an absolute great global platform. For those of you who don't know, Latham Watkins has 30 international offices and has a tech practice based in Silicon Valley. And I'm a tech lawyer. I represent venture capitalists and emerging companies and startups that are scaling from baby stages all the way up to being Facebook and Yahoo and companies like that. And so we're a great fit for each other because we have offices all across the nation, but also the type of startups and VCs that come out of LebNet tend to have more international focus, and there's not really any other kind of global elite law firms that have a focus on startups and venture capital like we do. So that's why I think we're a really good pair and a really good match. George and others at LebNet have, I've been honored to work with several of their companies, and I think that it works out pretty well. So thank you very much for being here. We want to keep this really short. Again, LebNet, I've watched it grow over just the past 4 years even. It's grown so much. It's incredible what they're doing. and the mission is great, and we believe in it. And I think our goal should be to beat and outpace New York, because they have about a year head start on us. I think that the LA tech ecosystem is better than New York already and growing rapidly. And like George said, where tech meets media, there's no better place to do that than here. So let's stay together, stay close, and kind of build this thing out as fast as we can. With that, we are co-sponsoring tonight with Anderson Tax. So I'd like to briefly invite my friend Mark Crawford up here. Don't let the name fool you. He's half Middle Eastern, and he's going to just share a little bit about Anderson Tax.
Yeah. So just a little bit about me, and David and I have grown up together as very good friends, and now work together on many clients. The Lebanese culture and community is a very unique group of people. I have a person that sold my house is sitting here tonight. I have another good long family friend that I'm here with, and we do business together. So working together as a part of a community of Lebanese Americans is very special. A little bit about Anderson: we have 20 offices here in the U.S. We have another 60 or 70 internationally. Very involved in the Los Angeles and Silicon Valley, San Francisco technology area. I work a lot with David on mutual clients, and really enjoy the working relationship with him. We come at everything from a tax perspective. We work with infant companies all the way up to when the company goes IPO, and then we typically also continue on with the founders, helping manage their tax positions as they liquidate, and then also look for more ventures. So that's a little bit about us, and hopefully tonight will be a great kickoff to what will be LebNet LA.
Great, thanks, Mark.
All right, I have the pleasure to introduce a great tech Lebanese entrepreneur here in LA, Louis Saad. Louis graduated from USC with a BS in Accounting and Information Systems. While there, he founded the company that he's still with to this very day, DataStream IT, where they manage IT services for businesses. He's grown it tremendously since he started, gosh, probably what, 10 years ago, Lou? It's been more than 10 years, wow. Then you look. He has an ongoing dedication to serving the community and has served on many, many nonprofit boards. He served on the board of Glendale Adventist Hospital, USC Young Alumni Council, Marshall Partners, Glendale Educational Foundation, Salvation Army of Glendale, and the Campbell Center Corporate Council. He's also served as the chairman of the City of Glendale's Audit Commission and as the vice president of the Glendale Chamber of Commerce, where he successfully founded the subset organization, the Glendale Young Professionals. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the Man of the Year in 2017, last year, Glendale Chamber of Commerce, sorry, small font. Thanks, Liz.
Thank you very much, David and Latham Watkins and Mark from Anderson Tax and George with LebNet. Thank you for joining us in Los Angeles and having the kickoff event here at Latham for LebNet. So I want to keep this very high level and kind of discuss doing business and being involved in the community as a Lebanese American. So a lot of us have Lebanese heritage in this room, but every story is unique in different ways. My great-grandparents came here in the late 1800s, and my family's been in America ever since. And I can consider myself a Lebanese American. So it's been a while. It's been over 120 years since my family came to this country. And the story is kind of interesting because my great-grandmother, Nazira Nicola, she came from the city of Zakli, which many of you know in Lebanon, and I've been there once, and she moved to North Dakota. And she moved to North Dakota where there wasn't a Lebanese community. It's not like going to Michigan or California and various parts here where we have that Lebanese community. But still to this day, my family, my cousins, my sister, my parents, we have that Lebanese heritage. We have our friends, many of whom are in this room that have this Lebanese heritage. And it was interesting to me that my great-grandmother came to this country just with the culture between her ears. She went to North Dakota, Dickinson, North Dakota, population 4,000 people, and eventually settled in Los Angeles and had this culture and would have great-grandchildren like myself who would end up meeting other Lebanese Americans and connect and be part of a community that covers the entire planet, as we all know. So I thought that was interesting in thinking of what it means to be Lebanese, what it means to have that culture, what it means especially to be a Lebanese American, and I wanted to reflect on that. And that's really what brings us all here together as members of LebNet or people who might want to join LebNet and be participating in it. I was thinking today about what makes Lebanese people so successful, and being Lebanese, we can all admit that in many different ways, we've found success not only with money, not only with business, but being involved in our communities and our friendships, and having successful families in different ways. And I was thinking of what it means to look at the tech community in Los Angeles. And I was thinking, what does I want to speak today on the tech community in Los Angeles. What does that mean? Well, it's very difficult to kind of say, this is the tech community in LA. And I was trying to think, where is the tech community? Where do I go to find the tech community in LA? And you can't find it like by going to a place, oh, here's where all the tech people are hanging out, even though from this point forward, LebNet will bring them together from time to time. And I was thinking, why is that there's no one place to go, that here's the Lebanese tech community? And I was thinking of all the successful Lebanese people I know. What do they have in common? And even the billionaires that we know, like Carlos Slim in Mexico, or Tom Barrack in Los Angeles, or Tom Boris, who's a billionaire here as well, involved in different conglomerates that buy up tech companies, among others. What is that thing that makes us unique? Where do we find Lebanese? And the answer is everywhere. And I think you bring Lebanese people together in a way that George and the organization LebNet has, and that's a wonderful thing. And when we get together, we do wonderful things. We have partnerships, we set up companies, we have ventures, we have investments that we do together, we collaborate on ideas. But the thing that really, I think, personally sets Lebanese apart from other cultures around the world is we have the ability to mesh and become part of another community and bring our gifts to other communities. A lot of times you'll see a woman or a man that's part of an organization that's very successful. The first thing you're going to say is not that that person's Lebanese. You're going to say that man's a wonderful engineer, or that woman is a wonderful CEO. And then maybe down the road you'll find out that she's Lebanese, because our culture really meshes well while still maintaining heritage. So in thinking about what it means to be Lebanese, and thinking of why we would come together, and thinking of where we find the tech community in LA, I thought it was interesting to kind of reflect on that fact that for many generations, Lebanese have found success throughout the world. But it doesn't only need to be when we gather together, even though we do wonderful things when we do gather together in different ways. So in terms of my career path, as David mentioned, I went to USC. I studied accounting information systems, and I went on to found my company, DataStream IT, which is based in Glendale. We do information technology services, IT consulting, IT management, and managed IT services. And just to share a few notes on my personal experience in business, a lot of the success that I've had in business comes from my ability to work with people. And again, thinking very high level and broadly here, I think from time to time we need to appreciate the culture that we have as Lebanese that allow us to do that. You ask a Lebanese person if they know someone, they definitely will know that contractor, they'll know that type of engineer, or if they don't know them, they know the person that knows the person. They'll be able to connect you. That's part of what it probably goes back to our Phoenician roots in some way. But that's something that's, I believe, very unique to our people. So in thinking of success that I've had in business, it relates to my community as well. David mentioned some of the community organizations that I've been honored to be a part of. And I think giving back to our community is something that we do well. And it really helps in the long run with business. But if it comes from a good place of really wanting to contribute and give our gifts, as Americans, for those of us who are in this country, but it's a common theme for those of us who are Lebanese. A lot of people like to say that they like to give back, but I don't know any Lebanese that really give back, because I think the theory would go from a Lebanese perspective, if you have the urge to give back, maybe you took too much to begin with. So you see Lebanese people, whether they be in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, they're constantly giving back to their communities. And I think that kind of is something that's unique to our culture. It allows us to connect with whatever community we happen to be in. It allows us success in business. And it allows us to be an influential part of our communities. So I just wanted to keep my comments brief in that. I'm really looking forward to the panel. By the way, we don't have anyone from Facebook here, right? Because we have engineers from Facebook. We're going to have them line up here and answer questions for us, I think.
Under oath.
Under oath, yeah. This time under oath. Well, with that, I just wanted to thank George, you for having me here today. I'm looking forward to the panel discussion, and I just really want to reflect on what an awesome thing it is for us to get together as Lebanese and to discuss tech, for those of us who are involved in technology, to collaborate with each other. And I'm really, really looking forward to, and I've heard wonderful things from LebNet, from David Adjunct, my good friend, who's been involved in Northern California. I'm really looking forward to LebNet being here in Los Angeles and giving us all a forum, as you said, George, in our own unique way of kind of organically growing in a way that works for our community. For all 88 cities in Los Angeles County, with a population of almost 11 million people, we're looking forward to LebNet being a wonderful part of our community. Thank you, George.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the panel. It's actually going to be, from what I hear, very exciting. I want to thank Zach, Zach Anton, who set this up. Zach is the CEO of MoviePath. Just a little bit about Zach. Basically, he probably built the first and the largest, more successful mobile app development company, actually in Lebanon, called Eurisco Mobility. And he sold it in 2016. He's currently running a VC fund to invest in Nigerian startups. He'll tell us about it, along with his own startup, MoviePath, in its film discovery startup. So Zach has a lot of work right now. Thank you so much for setting this up, and he's going to tell us about the panel.
Thanks, George. So, be kind. This is the first time I do this. So I'm going to keep looking at my phone to remind me. I don't have such a good memory. So thank you all for coming tonight. We have some extremely exciting technologies. The startup founders here, they have some very impressive technologies that they're going to talk about. Some of them, they're going to do demos. So I would like to ask the panelists, I'm going to state your name, state your company name, and when I do that, come up, please. So first, we're going to go Dr. Amin Isa. He's the founder and war chief of Mobilytics. It's a platform that scientifically measures gamer performance. Amin comes from a cardiovascular division at the Mayo Clinic, film producing background. He's done a bunch of movies, probably some of which you guys know. And now he has a cutting edge technology that I know Hollywood has been trying to do for a very, very long time. And I know that because I was in the industry for a few years, and I know this technology, everyone, they've been butting their heads against the wall to do it. So I guess you did it, and that's a big deal. Next, we have Romeo Elias. I've known Romeo for most of my LA years, probably 25 years, and also his brother. Romeo is the founder and president and CEO of Intellect. Intellect is a manufacturer of an award-winning enterprise SaaS, perform for quality and compliance. He's doing some very exciting stuff. Every year I talk to him, he tells me about new products and how he's improving his software. And last, not last, we got Danny Dira. Danny is the CEO of Reels. It's a video game platform. I've known Danny for a long time too. Danny comes from a Yahoo background, and now he's in gaming as well. Last but not least is Charles Nader. Charles he has a very interesting little story. He's born in Chicago. From Mexico? Okay. So Mexican Lebanese. And he's the co-founder and CEO of Docademic. It's a revolutionary app-based platform that provides initial doctor consultation for free. Basically, the universal healthcare that everyone's talking about now, and it's all over the news. I think Charles just laid the first major brick towards resolving that issue that all the politicians are talking about now.
So our company, basically, what we do is we take people who play a lot of video games and we tell them how good they are, how bad they are, what their strengths and weaknesses. We make like an AI coach, and they use that AI coach to get better. Video games are very competitive, and they demand a lot of practice. How did I get into that? I'm sure a lot of people in this room can relate, but growing up in a very traditional Lebanese family in Lebanon, you have two choices when you graduate. Well, my family had two choices. I think some families have three. Become a doctor or an engineer, and then the third is usually a lawyer. And I was really young. I graduated high school at 14, going on 15, and I said, Kum Hakim, okay. And I want to help people. And I realized you're memorizing every bone in the body, you're memorizing all these things, and computers were starting to really catch on, and I'm like, a computer will be able to do this. I don't understand why I need to do this. And I always play video games. I love video games. I played way more than my parents or even my friends would like sometimes. I did the MCAT, did all this medical school stuff, and realized it's not for me. I got accepted into engineering. I said, I'll try engineering, and I got accepted into that. And I ended up at the Mayo Clinic, which I did. And it's really, really cold up there. It's nothing like Lebanon. There's nothing to do. And so I played more video games, a lot more. I was playing at times 14 hours a day, and I would go to the lab at night so I could avoid people and finish my work efficiently, and then so I could play again more the next day. And you know, I played professionally for a while I was there. It got me in a lot of trouble. I was always in some sort of trouble. And then I realized maybe I should finish this PhD and get it over with, and I did. And through a series of lucky events, I kind of always kept coming back to video games. And you know, I started studying human performance. I was interested in what made people great at what they do. And through a few lucky breaks, I kept chasing the video game part, seeing what made gamers great. A lot of failures, a lot of being told this won't work. And we got a lucky break at TechCrunch, and then we went from 0 to hero in overnight. And that's really the story. But I really like games. I think the person I relate to most in the room is sitting over there. So yeah, sometimes I feel like I don't belong in these things. So I think I'll pass the mic. So it's going to go this way. Yeah,
So first of all, I want to thank everybody for having me here, because this is such a different thing to me to be part of the community of technology than entertainment. I've been in the entertainment business for now 12 years since I moved here. I was born in Lebanon, I grew up in Lebanon. I wrestled like everybody in Lebanon, they wrestled. And I decided to pursue what a lot of Lebanese want to do, which is go to the States and study and probably get into a master's degree or higher education. So anyway, I came here, I attended a school called AFI, which is the American Film Institute. I was the first Middle Eastern to ever come to the school, which was fantastic. I got a lot of love. And after that, I started my career in the entertainment industry. The funny thing is, and I believe this greatly, which is that anybody in life ends up finding what they really are meant to do or what they're really meant to become, in a sense. And I say this because growing up, I was always obsessed with technology. I was fascinated by when cell phones came out. I remember after the war, everybody in Lebanon went and bought cell phones. They were super expensive. And my dad got one, and we used to like it was like an amazing thing. So much so that I think that this part of me ended up converging into what I have now become and this founding of this company, which is Kino, which is essentially two companies that we founded. Initially, it was an entertainment company that we merged with a technology company. And we did that because the entertainment and technology are sort of intertwined, and they need each other, but at the same time, there's been a long-standing history of hatred between Silicon Valley and Hollywood. And I thought that this is not good for anybody, because to make movies and entertainment, you need technology. To put out entertainment, you need technology. To send messages, you need technology. What's happening with Facebook is fascinating. I actually did spend probably the 7 hours watching the deposition of Mark Zuckerberg to understand really what's happening. And besides that, I find the guy phenomenal in terms of his stamina and his personality. I think that nobody. Yeah, of course. But the thing, Zach, is that there isn't really anybody that knows what's going on. Like, yes, we think we can put regulations, but this whole technology is new. This whole privacy system is new. And it's a little bit of what we have created, which is that we founded this company to be at the intersection of entertainment and technology. And because we feel that they need to be closer together. So I have a demo that's going to come out after the conversation, which you will experience, all of you. The point is that I want to go back to the idea that we're here because I think we love what we do, and you become the person you sort of like are designed to become. And I've been lucky enough that I've been supported by my family, and 2 years ago I met a woman that became my wife. She supports me incredible. She's with us in the room. To allow me to do what I do, which is this company that does interactive movies in cinema, and allows this gamification of films. Goes back to you, you'll see it. And for the first time, you're going to see that films could become a product that could be reused and monetized and so on and so forth. So that's basically, so very simple. Born and raised in Lebanon, moved here, trying to pursue the American dream, technology and entertainment.
So, yeah, really happy to be here, and I'm really glad we're doing LebNet down here. I've actually been a member of LebNet for a few years now, but yeah, I really benefited from it because it wasn't down here, so I'm glad you guys are doing this. So I think I'm the only one on the panel who's in the B2B space. Everybody, I think, is, for the most part, B2C, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll share a little bit about that. And so I got my undergrad at UC San Diego in mechanical engineering, then got my master's in manufacturing engineering at UCLA, and then I had to eventually break the news. I don't want to go back. I want to stay here. It was a tough conversation, but I ended up doing it. I got the courage to do it. I was working for a while, then I was realizing, why am I working the job when I have a company I could run in Nigeria? So I had to start something. So I started the company back in late 90s, early 2000. We had no idea what I was doing back then. It was a consulting software company, and we raised some initial money from angel investors, and the market crashes. Been through like 3 different market crashes. So we had to bootstrap for a while, live off of credit cards, and just make ends meet in different ways. And then, you know, slowly over time, just with the grind, raising a lot of money over the years, and we're here right now. So what we do is we have an enterprise software. We target companies that are regulated, so FDA or ISO or any kind of regulation that they have to comply with. And our platform is a compliance platform. They use it to meet those compliance requirements. So they automate various different processes internally. It's all B2B. We work with large organizations like Stryker, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Princess Cruises, you know, large organizations that need this kind of software internally. And it's a purely recurring revenue SaaS software. I mean, I can agree with everybody in terms of you find your passion, you have to kind of go through the whole process. There's a lot that I've learned over the years, and part of what I'm also excited about being here is I want to be able to give back, whether to the Lebanese community, which would be awesome, but other startups as well. So I also advise a lot of companies who are in the same space where I can kind of contribute to, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm excited to be here. And
Thank you, Robbie.
We basically, a thing I've always wanted to do is do something great for the world and do something that could just basically change the course of humanity. With today's technologies, you can do a lot of amazing things. And obviously being Lebanese also, you have that spirit of entrepreneurship. So the combination of the spirit of entrepreneurship and the knowledge of the reach of today's technologies, if you combine those two things, like you see here, you can do amazing things. One of the things that we do, we're a healthcare data company. Basically, Academic has different services that we offer to the medical community and to the public in general. And through those services, we acquire data, very valuable data. Right now we have our service that people most see, because it's our service to the public, is an application where you download it, register, press a button, and talk to a doctor for free, 24 hours a day. And we give the service in 20 countries currently. We do thousands of medical assistants, as we call them, a month. And we're expanding right now to the US and Europe this year. So I'm going to show you guys in the end, after we all speak a bit, how it works. Hopefully you'll download it. But it's a pretty amazing service, and you know, it links up with our whole platform for doctors. And you know, using first principle thinking, we came up with a business model that's made it work. So we have clients in government, we have clients in private industry, and they're all data products, basically. So that's it.
So 7 years ago, I started an extremely tiny company. It was called Reels, and it's focused on social casino games. I just started a little bit with a neighbor of mine who was just screaming, playing another game, and I'm like, oh, I can beat you, and I wrote a tiny script. And then that tiny script became a little product, and then everybody wanted that product, and I started selling that product. And from there, we built our own slot machines, obviously for fake money. And we got extremely lucky to work with Globe in the Philippines, which is one of the top telcos, with the help of Ayana. I heard someone has some operation in the Philippines here. After that, we've launched another title under Reels, which is called Bingo Battle. That was 4 years ago, and we're in the process of going mobile. So hopefully, middle of this summer, we will be able to produce our mobile version. We've been extremely lucky to really be able to penetrate in this field. It's a really tough one. Prior to that, I co-founded a company in the dating vertical with former CEO of Match.com, Jim Safran, and Ask.com. And prior to that, I worked with a company called Chegg in Silicon Valley. We're part of like 5-6 people that we pretty much built, what's now textbook rentals, and was revenue exceeding hundreds of millions of dollars. So a lot of scars, and we'll share experience if anyone has any questions. I'd like to thank my friends for coming, and Zach for inviting me, and the organizers. And I mean, I just met him, and we both went to the Mayo Clinic, which is really interesting. The same people, and it looks like it's the way to go to the gaming.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
All of you are doing some exciting stuff. So there's a fundamental question, in terms of success, that a lot of the times you don't see it in the media, you don't see it on panels. So talk to us about those moments when you feel like the whole world is coming down on your head and nothing's gonna go right, and you overcome and you keep moving forward. So we're gonna go down the line, and if you could please, each one of you tell us how you overcame and what it took for you to just keep on fighting till you to get to the level that you are on now. Thanks.
So for me, I never think of success or failure, because I think this is what people perceive, and it's very unimportant to me. What matters to me is just to put my head down and just continue just to work. I just focus on my achievements. So I never have those moments, because I always have things I need to do, and that's my focus. I don't get really moved by if a product failed. It has to fail. It's the nature of the game. Some products cannot make it, and some product makes it. The key thing to me is just continue working and never really put metrics into success or failures. Just keep doing it.
Keep creating products.
Keep creating products. You have to be very strategic, very tactical. See competition, and then you have to know how to maneuver. Adapt to the landscape. Exactly. So these are key things to us. So my advice to anyone here: not to really focus on success and how people perceive success or how people perceive failures. Just focus on your accomplishment. Just build your things and just keep doing it and adapt and change. Success and failures is really very unimportant.
I think it's a great starting platform to have a strong internal compass, like, and block out what people perceive. I think maybe I can draw. I was always a very curious kid, always asking questions. And a word that's very common in our dictionary is "hey." Ignore what the "hey" is. As I grew older, and "hey" is very bad for it. It has good things. Don't get me wrong, but if you want to like work on something you care about, don't worry about "hey" at all, because I think failure is really, really, really part of the journey. I think nothing is success at all. Like it's just everything is just failure and learn, and as long as you have fun, who cares? The hardest thing that ever happened to me there's plenty of stuff that were hard with this journey. I think like, you know, when you're 30 employees and you're running out of money and all kinds of stuff like that. But the hardest thing I've ever done was that really taught me to be resilient is 5-6 years ago now, we did an expedition for research at the clinic, and we climbed Mount Everest. And on that expedition, there's, if you've ever seen, there's Sherpa, and they carry all your stuff, and they go up. And these guys, they wear flip-flops climbing this mountain. You have your fancy North Face gear and all your stuff, and they don't complain. They're always smiling, they're always laughing, they have nothing. And you complain about everything. It really changes the way you paint stuff. And the first night I got really sick. It wasn't the first night, but the first night that I was really sick, I had like really bad diarrhea. I was sitting on this mountain at 12,000 feet, 4,000 meters, and I thought I was gonna die, and it was horrible. I was like white as a ghost, and I was like, why the hell did I even decide to do this voluntarily? And today I can laugh about it. It's very funny. All my friends make fun of how I looked that day and everything. And that was a very hard experience. And after that, every time I get in a shitty situation, I just remember how hard it was, and that, you know, every day it'd be okay because I can just fire up a PlayStation and play with my friends and my brothers back home. So nothing's a big deal. Just do whatever you like, and just make sure you put your head down. It's important. You gotta block out the noise.
Question. I mean, but the question is it now based on your prior failures, let's say, if you want to call it that, an experience that nothing is a failure, or has it always been like that? Because that's an integral part of growth.
I think it's important to celebrate small victories, just like you said, small victories. But I don't even know if what I'm doing now is a success, right? Like I think we always try and label stuff. Success, failure, you know, just...
Okay, so
yeah.
let's rephrase.
Yeah.
Let's say the journey.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you at some points feel overwhelmed?
Absolutely.
Right, so let's rephrase it and say the journey.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
The journey? So the journey is like, it's so zen to say like, just enjoy the journey. It's true, but like sometimes the journey is, you're in the middle of nowhere, there's 100 ways you can go, you don't know which one's the right way, and everyone's telling you to go a specific way, but you're the person who has to decide. And so sometimes all you want to do is just shut down and maybe turn on a PlayStation and just ignore everyone else. But I think it's really beautiful when you get to those places when you're stuck and you're agonizing over a question, you don't know what the hell to do, and then you find that choice out, and then afterwards you can look back and you can say, like, I was in a really shitty situation, I made the best of it, and now it worked out.
Because I had an experience of working as a job before. I was an engineer. And then I got the experience of starting my business, and just the level of people that I met and interacted with was so different. And I would never have had that experience working as an engineer. And so there's a different kind of experience in life that you get automatically. And it comes with its own, obviously, risks, and responsibility, and expectations, and the struggle comes along with that. You feel to be willing to deal with that. But ultimately, I tell people that it's not enough to have an idea, it's not enough to be excited about it. You have to ultimately be willing to do something about it. Because that separates, I think, most of the world from the entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs take you to that next level, they're willing to invest, and if they're not willing to put through the grind it's not going to go anywhere. It's not failure or success. It's just that you're not going to get the results that you hoped for. That's how I look at it. It's purely results. I hope that's answering the question. Hopefully it gives a little bit of perspective on what to expect.
It's getting better as we go down.
That's so cool.
You want to swim?
Yeah. Now we got to start that way.
So the question was what? All right. The journey. All right. Well, for me, what's really made me persevere really has been doing something that's really important. I mean, for every time I would hit a roadblock, which it's been many times. I mean, it still keeps on going, never stops. It's incredible. But just waking up every day and saying, this is worth it. You know, it's definitely worth doing. That for me has been what has made me keep on going. And I always tell my mom, I say, you know, it's aging me. I don't know if it's Lebanese or something, but I've had a lot of hair fall out in the last few years. But you know, it's just keep on working really hard. You know, you have to make those sacrifices. For me, I've made a lot of sacrifices. You know, sometimes you look back and like, holy crap, I could have done this. My brother, for example, he lives in South Africa, travels a lot and stuff. You gotta be there, you gotta work. And, you know, it's one of those things where in the end, the reward has to be worth it. And that's for me, it's worth it. You know, I think I always feel privileged to be on this journey. I always feel privileged to have the opportunity to do this. I think we're living amazing times right now. You know, we're transitioning to type 1 civilization. It's pretty incredible to be living this moment. You know, 5 years go by and it's almost a different world, you know. 10 years ago, or just a little bit over 10 years ago, Facebook started. You know, so many things are happening right now. It's pretty incredible what's going to happen with artificial intelligence, what's happening with blockchain technology. It's pretty exciting. It's incredible to be involved in all that stuff. And it's a motivation if you use those things for the benefit of humanity somehow. But that's really what's been my drive. It's just, I'm living the dream in a sense. You know, you have the pain of starting something, going out, pricing your product, selling to people. You know, people scrutinize you, they tell you yes, and then you leave, and then, you know, they laugh at you behind your back. You know, those kinds of things. We've gone through so many things, but in the end, that's basically been constantly optimizing and stuff. That's been what's made us push forward, has been the mission in the end. You know? If we can do this, we can see a huge change. So that's what it's been for me.
Fail early, fail forward, which essentially is multiple failure along the journey is okay. It's all about persevering.
All right, I'll show you guys what we do currently. This is in 20 countries right now. We do thousands of medical assistances a month, and we treat a lot of people, just, you know, from random common colds to people who've been electrocuted or they have heart attacks. You know, so it's pretty incredible stuff. But you press this button here in the center, and what it's doing right now, it's sending out a signal to all the doctors that we have, basically. There's people usually always in line. You know, there's always people using the service, so we do it by queuing theory, a mathematical model to determine how many doctors we have.
What's the app called?
Docademic. It was on the screen, but we'll see right now. So it can take a few minutes. It went viral in Latin America about a little bit over a year ago. Started growing a lot in Colombia and Venezuela and stuff like that. A lot of women started telling their sisters, and, you know, who had kids and stuff. Almost half of our patients or our cases are pediatric. Oh, there you go. Okay. So it just rings, and right now it's going to connect us to a doctor. Hola.
Hola, buenas noches. Hablan de asistencias médicas Academy. Atiende la doctora Latham Watkins.
Yeah. Hello. anyways, she's expecting me to do something. You guys can try it out. Doctora, gracias. Yes. All right. Well, just finalize it. But basically, that's it. It's pretty simple. You know, that's why we needed it to be that simple, because you don't need money or insurance. You just press a button and talk to a doctor. And you know, that's very important for the future of humanity. I always say, you know, I remember when I was a kid and I fell down off my bicycle and I scraped up my leg. I was bleeding. And I ran into my friend's house, and his mom was standing there in the kitchen. She was just like in shock. She was like this. And I walked over, I was crying, I was holding in the tears. You know, you don't want to cry in front of your friends. So I walked over to the bathroom and I washed myself up. And you know, these days you can teach children, like, hey, if something happens, use this. If you have doubt in anything, use this. And that has the power to really transform generations, because it's really good health education. And it's just a simple way of doing things. You know, this is it was really important for us to make it free, so you didn't depend on any kind of insurance or income. So there's, you know, a lot of people that use it throughout Latin America. And this links up to our medical platform for doctors, where we have an electronic health record, journals, and a whole bunch of stuff that they use. It's all for free, also for the medical community. And we incentivize them to use our services, so that's an ongoing growing platform also. But we're expanding the service to the US now. We will be launching before the end of June here in the US. We're starting in California. And the third quarter of 2018 we'll be launching in Europe. And we're in that growth phase right now, so there's a lot of difficulties and a lot of new things happening that we're just getting through, but we're doing a good job. I have amazing partners. I'm very happy with what's going on right now, but you know, we're in a blitzscaling phase, so there's a lot of fires going on constantly. You have to choose the right ones to put out. You know, you can't put them all out.
Yeah, basically, so when you go on your app store on your phone, whether you have an Android or iPhone, just download this app called CTRL Movie, Control Movie, CTRL Movie, and then once it's downloaded, it should download very fast. Then you go to your Wi-Fi settings, and then you connect to the Wi-Fi, which is called Control Movie. And what will happen is we'll play the movie, and everybody will have the app. You'll see buttons on the screen which will be reflected in the app, and then you'll vote on the choice you want, and then the majority of the house will rule the story. So you'll manipulate what the character does, what the story does, all of that stuff. This is a movie that has 7 different endings, 180 decision choice points.
So, if I'm not mistaken, most of you here have, if not a college degree, at least a master's and a PhD. Am I correct? Is there anyone who doesn't have that? Well, let me bring you to reality. At least 49% of children in Lebanon do not graduate from high school. Really. You're all shocked because you'll meet the privileged ones that do go to school, get to continue with their degrees, and even leave the country, right, and can continue on and on. But there's a whole group that doesn't get to do that for a variety of reasons. The first is that they're not encouraged by their parents, because the parents have had their businesses in their communities, whether dads are bus drivers, butchers, women often have hair salons, and the kids feel, okay, that's what I'll do when I grow up. The second part is that most teachers are, the average age is 62 years, okay? Many are not certified. So there's not a lack of teachers in Lebanon, there's a lack of good teachers who inspire the kids. And so, Teach for Lebanon was founded by an engineer. He was working at the time at the US Embassy, and he was told, go and do this study on the educational system. And he found this statistic that I just threw out at you, so he was in shock. He said, okay, we need to do something about it. And he looked at different models in the world and heard about Teach for America. Now, some of you might have heard about it. Basically, it was founded 25 years ago by a woman who was doing her thesis at Princeton. And same thing, in rural America, the quality of education was not up to par. So she thought, well, what's the problem here? Well, good teachers weren't being attracted to go and work in those areas. So she thought, well, what about if we hire young fresh college grads, send them off for a couple of years on a fellowship to teach in these remote areas? Maybe that would make a difference. And it did. It was amazing because, well, you're young, you're not cynical, you're excited, you go, and you're almost like a big brother and big sister to those younger kids. It's the same thing now in Lebanon. So Teach for Lebanon was founded in 2008, and we started with 12 fellows. We call our hires fellows. We put them through a rigorous training for 6 weeks in the summer, and then we send them off into different schools. So far, we've been in about 50-some schools since we started. But on average, we're in 26 to 28 schools a year. This past year, we were able to hire 49 fellows. And how do we do that? It's not free. These young fellows are paid. We pay them $1,000 a month, which is, I guess, not so bad over there. But many of them could actually go and get much better jobs, because where do we get them from? These are fresh graduates from AUB, LAU, Balaman, and Hagazian. And many of these young kids could get other jobs, but they decide to do this work. The parents of these kids were like, what are you, crazy? Where are you taking my child? Somewhere that they've never been to, and it's not safe. And we slowly showed them that we would take good care of them. We're not going to just let them go and not make sure that they're not in harm's way. So we started with 12, and now we received over 1,400 applications for 30 spots. So that tells you that, A, there is a need for young people out of college to find jobs. So rather than leaving, some of them do get to work with us. It's become almost prestigious to work with Teach for Lebanon. It's a little bit like being part of, in America, AmeriCorps. And so I believe that if more and more people realize what we do, they'll realize that we accomplish two things. The first is we give a first job to some kids, but B, we help the youth behind us who up to now have not had a chance to dream or to think about doing anything beyond what their parents did. And we want to give them that opportunity, and we do it through our program. So I'd like you to ask me questions based on what I just said, and we'll go from there. So, does anybody have any? Sure.
So, do you think the curriculum in Lebanon is a problem? Does it push people away from school? I hated school when I was a kid, I'll tell you that much. Second thing, so can you tell us the details when you send these new teachers? What's the interaction like with existing teachers in school? Are they getting resistance? Are they getting...
Yeah. Absolutely, that's a great question, actually. We do not come in to take over. We add teachers to schools that are underserved in actuality. So what happens is that, no, we don't change the curriculum, everything stays the same. We just come in to help, but the beauty is that beyond teaching the 9 to 5 or whatever the time is during the school time, our fellows really get engaged into the community, and they come up with extracurricular activities, many of which are actually technology driven. So, in fact, I'm here because we are piloting, we want to pilot a tech STEM project to advance the literacy in that, of that sector in the schools that we're in. And we're trying to engage a robotics company to help us implement and really give an opportunity to children to enjoy learning about, you know, math, science, technology, etc. Right, right. And by having younger teachers makes a huge difference, because these children now, as I said, they look up to their teachers as big brother, big sister.
Do you help public or private schools?
So it's an interesting question, because as you know, public's really not public. So we found ways to be in the semi-public sector, and the government does help a little bit, but not enough. So, you know, we have to work within our socio-economic context, which is challenging. And so most of our support comes from individuals, and we're starting to get some foundation grants, but that's a long process, writing a proposal and eventually getting chosen. So we can't count on that, and it hurts our cash flow. So we have to look at individuals, and also now corporates. We need to work more with them. So we're only 10 years old, so.
Okay, I know that we have areas, special areas in Lebanon, that the people don't go to schools. Of course, okay, I'm coming from an area which is the first in Lebanon in education. So from the north of Lebanon, from Kura, we are very famous that we are all educated.
Really? I'm from Kura.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. This is that all are educated. So because of this, when you said 49%, wow, oh my God, I lived most of my life in Lebanon. I think the problem is that some areas, it's not about the public or the private schools. I agree with you about the teachers, that they are old. I was a teacher. I had this experience. Yes. Average. I said average. Yeah, but I mean, no. I understand you. It gives a difference. I was a student, and I had a teacher like in her late 50s. It was different than when I was teaching, when I was in my 20s. Right. And how the students react, it makes a difference. I agree totally with this. But I mean, is it enough that we have only this number that you have? Like you start with 12, it's excellent, and now you are 49. I mean, how you divide these people, where you send them, which areas? This is the most important thing for us to know, because it's, you know what I mean.
It's the most underserved areas. We try
Underserved,
to go there.
underserved, yeah.
There's a map, I have a brochure.
Map, it shows exactly where we go. We don't go to the ones that don't need us. It's the ones that need us. And we put 2 fellows more or less per school. So we're in 26 schools more or less.
But I mean, how
we would love to, you know,
yes, of course.
scale up.
But I mean, how, for example, you go like for a village, and there are people that don't go to school. How you encourage their parents to bring them?
Yeah, well, we slowly are engaging. Our fellows are amazing. You know, initially it's a scary situation for them, but slowly they begin to see that they can make such a difference, that they engage the entire community. So let me give you an example. One of our fellows started a library. Another started to bring clothes for old people. I mean, just so many amazing extracurricular projects, and that's how you engage the community, and they now want to do more with you. So it's not a one-off thing. It's quite
It's a big
Yeah.
job, and it's a long way.
a long term,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
it's a sustainable project, you know. So, but we want to scale it up because then we'll have more impact. Yeah.
Good luck, and good luck for LebNet
so much.
in LA.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.